Hello, this is Miss Maddie from the Winnetka Public Library. I'm going to show you how to make our Take and Make sewing kit for today. We're doing a donut. So inside your kits, you're going to find a couple of things. You're going to get some puff stuffing for your plushie, the top and bottom pieces of the donut and the frosting piece, and a bunch of beads for sprinkles. This is the sample I did. I didn't use the beads on the sample. If you want to do it that way, you can. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the donut to the inside part, the part that's got the ink on it, and we're going to sew up all the little slats. So you want to make sure that you're sewing on the inside of it because we're going to fold them the other way. So you're just going to use a couple of tight stitches here. Make sure you pull the thread really tight, and then when you knot it, make sure that the knot's very tight because we're going to put a lot of pressure on these stitches when we fill it up with stuffing. So this is what it looks like when you've done all 4 of them. You can see the stitches on the inside, and it kind of has like a nice 3-dimensional puff to it. I'll show you how to do the whip stitches one more time really quick here, and then I'm going to do the rest of the 3 sides for this second half as well. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sew on our beads to the frosting piece. So pick out whichever colors you like, and we're just going to sort of randomly put them around. So I'm going to just pull the thread through and then feed one of the long beads onto my needle and pull it all the way down so it's tight against the bottom of the fabric. And then you kind of fold the bead down the direction you want it to go, and then you want to make sure that you poke in the thread at the end of the bead so it's nice and tight. And I'll show you how to do that a couple more times. Okay, so now we're going to start attaching our pieces together. So I'm going to pick one of my 2 halves to be the top, and I'm going to sew the frosting with sprinkles piece to the top of it. I'm going to start with the center hole, and I'm going to sew it to there, and then I'm going to do the outside next. So I'm going to put my needle in through both pieces of the fabric, and then I'm going to drop my needle in through the hole in the center. And I'm just going to whip it around and continue that type of stitch all the way around the center. Alright, so now I've gone all the way around the middle, and I'm just going to tie a knot on the underside here, and I will be ready to attach the outside part of the pink frosting to our top half of the donut. So now to attach the outside part of it, I'm just going to press it down so it's tight against the top half of the donut, and I'm going to go in through the pink part of the fabric and then down just outside of it onto the brown fabric underneath, just to attach it. And I'm going to keep my stitches very tight and close together, and I don't want them to have different distances between them. The more uniform it looks, the better it'll look. Alright, so now I'm going to sew the two halves of the donut together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, well, first I'm going to hide my knot, but then I'm going to line up the pieces of the fabric so that the little sewn edges there meet. And I'm going to sew up the inside first, just like I did with the frosting piece, and I'm going to use the same stitch to attach all three of these together as I did before. And I'm using my pink thread that matches the pink fabric to sort of hide the stitching on the inside of this. And then on the very outer edge I'll be using a brown thread. So now I'm going to work on the outside. I'm going to start at one of my little sewn bits there, and I'm going to do one section of it. So I'm going to do the same whip stitch all the way to that other side, and then I'm going to tie a knot and fill that middle part with stuffing, and I'm going to do this in 4 segments. Alright, so I tied my knots to keep my thread secure, and now I'm going to put stuffing into this like fourth of the donuts. And I'm going to sew up one of the sections, fill it with some stuffing, sew up another, fill it with stuffing, and I'm going to do that until I've done all 4. Alright, so I've done all of the other segments, and now I've got this last little bit here, so I'm going to put the last of my stuffing in there, and I'm going to sew up the hole to close it. Once you get the stuffing inside too, if it's a little lumpy because you did it in segments, you can kind of mush it together and sort of try to break up the hard chunks by just squeezing it and trying to move it around while it's inside. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you at the library very soon. Have a great day. Bye!